Hello! I just wanted to make an update video to talk about what's been happening lately and on future plans for the channel. First of all, as you can see, I have a new recording setup. I recently acquired some new equipment with the help of my home office budget from work, so now I have a facecam as well as a green screen and some lights. Secondly, I wanted to quickly go over why I haven't been able to upload much lately. For the better part of last year, my old Windows 10 laptop started freezing up occasionally due to outdated drivers. This was extremely annoying and it made recording and editing decent videos almost impossible. Now you might be thinking, why not just update the old drivers? Well, unfortunately this laptop was actually gifted to me a long time ago as a Windows 7 machine, and it's also an Alienware, so driver support for the laptop has been dropped entirely. There's probably a fix for this that I could search for, and I may still try to fix it eventually, but it's been on the back burner for quite a while now, so I doubt that this will happen anytime soon. Instead, I've been working on setting up a NixOS machine, which I'm currently using to record this video, as you can see behind me. If you don't know what NixOS is, it's a Linux distro based on Nix, the purely functional package manager used for reproducible builds. I personally have very mixed feelings about Nix, so let me explain why I've started using NixOS. One of the biggest reasons I decided on NixOS is because I wanted to learn more about Nix, since many projects in the functional programming community use Nix for CI and development environments. Now, it is possible to use Nix on macOS as well, but I found that there's better support for Nix on NixOS. Go figure. Another thing that's nice about NixOS is that programs are installed through a configuration file, which means it's actually fairly easy to install the exact programs I have on this machine on another machine running NixOS. This makes it easier to reset up my environment if my machine dies for some reason and I need a new one. Lastly, I've come to dislike the amount of bloat on Windows machines. I find newer Windows operating systems come with too many programs and apps I have absolutely no intention of ever using. Now, this doesn't mean I hate Windows. I think Windows is still the go-to for gaming and other applications that aren't well supported on other operating systems. However, given all the issues I've had on my Windows machine, I feel like doing development and recording on a Linux machine will work a bit better for me right now. As for why it took me so long to set up my new machine, well, I basically don't know much about Linux at all. I ended up learning quite a bit as I set up this machine, but I largely still feel like I'm a Linux beginner. On top of that, Nix is very difficult to learn. The documentation is pretty hard to read and the Nix language isn't statically typed, so it's very difficult to figure out what properties any given function argument has unless the author was kind enough to leave a comment. Setting up OBS on NixOS was also quite difficult due to a combination of NixOS being a relatively unpopular distro and OBS support being in its infancy on Linux systems. I ran into an issue on OBS where I couldn't record the screen, and there were so few resources online on how to fix it that I gave up and came back to it after several months had passed. I've obviously fixed it now, but it was really annoying searching for a solution online. Apparently, the issue happened when I updated my OS several months ago, due to OBS defaulting to using Wayland, as shown in this Reddit post. Ultimately, I wasn't able to fix OBS to use Wayland properly, so I had to disable it and go back to X11. To figure out how to do that, I searched until I found this blog post. Let me just show the blog post here. There we go. So, this line right here, this line is what I had to add to my configuration.nix file to disable Wayland and get OBS working again. Issues like this are why I find it very difficult to recommend NixOS to developers unless they're already comfortable with both Linux systems and non-statically typed functional languages. It's a powerful tool, but you really have to put in work to get anything out of it. Now that I've explained my new setup, I just want to talk very briefly about other significant events that happened last year. For instance, the company I've been working at for the last 5 years was recently acquired. For those who don't know, I used to work for a company called Bitcool Technologies, and now we've been acquired by a company named Improving, so we're Improving Vancouver now. Yeah, it's not the best name, especially for search engines, but I'm sticking around for now since I'm not sure how things will change yet. In addition, I also became an uncle fairly recently, so that has kind of shaken things up in the family a bit. With all that out of the way, let's talk about future plans for this channel. As you can probably guess, Since I've invested in all this new equipment, I plan on producing more videos this year. Currently, I've been focusing on types and programming languages with fairly expressive type systems, so I feel like maybe recording some tutorials on writing more type-safe code, as well as how I became interested in types and type systems in the first place. I feel like that might help people understand why I find types so fascinating, and maybe get some of them interested in learning more. I don't want to focus on specific languages, but that may be unavoidable in some cases because a lot of the more interesting type systems are implemented in less popular research languages. I should also add an asterisk to all of this because I am only an industry developer and not someone with a master's or PhD. I'm mostly focused on what parts will be practical for what I consider to be the average developer, who is comfortable picking up a variety of programming languages. Admittedly, I'm not sure how teachable this all is, especially to the impatient developer who just wants to get things done, but I would like to give it a try even if I don't succeed. I would also like to note that I currently have no intentions of ever monetizing this channel. I have a full-time job right now and I'm making decent enough money as it is, so unless things fall through, I'm not going to be asking for subs or likes or whatnot in my videos. I think I may have done it once for a video a long time ago, but I've since decided that I don't really care that much about making YouTube into a career. So, with all that being said, thank you for watching to the end of the video, take care and have a nice day.